bringing me out the dark. Finally, I can see you crystal clear. Go ahead and sell me out, and I'll lay your ship bare. See, I'll leave with every piece of you. Don't underestimate the things that I will do. There's a fire starting in my heart, reaching a fever pitch, and it's bringing me out the dark.
I do remember this photo that I took. This is my Auntie Eileen. This was my Uncle Colin, my Nana, and my dad. And I know for my brothers and sisters that these people were such an influence in our life. And now Auntie Eileen is in her older age as well. She's around 82, I believe. And Dad himself is now 74. It was a reminder with the loss of recently the parents of some of my colleagues, and also with that photograph that time can tick by really quickly. So what I wanted to do is not wait until we lose them. I wanted to go and grab some of those memories that are important to them and maybe shaped us. And so this film is about that journey. Here we are in Christchurch. Sister Mary, thanks for the pickup, and good to see the tram running again after quite a few years of not running. And wow, I have no idea really where I am. What do you think of how they've been rebuilding this place, Mary?
You know, it's looking really good, the architecture, spot on.
I find it strange that everything you do these days, you've got to have a bloody smartphone, even to hire one of them bikes.
Do you find that an inconvenience or just interesting?
Older people, mate, haven't got all these bloody modern gadgets. They're left out in the cold, are we?
They're building a new thing over where Farmers was.
Stephen, okay, that's special. They put them in little things.
Hi.
Maybe you can give Caitlin.
It's alright.
But
So back in Christmas of 2016, Dad and I travelled through to Ireland, and we managed to visit James Justin, our grandfather and Dad's dad, his homeland, and there was part of the house that he originally stayed in. So what we've done is we have a little bit of this brickwork, stonework from the original house, and on behalf of Eric and Stan and Nicholas, the relatives who are currently in Ballymacprior in Ireland, we were going to, next time we were in Christchurch, just place a little bit of this rock at James Justin's gravesite, and that's what we're here to do today. Following the Ballymacprior stone chimney ceremony, we were making our way out of the cemetery when our aunties Eileen and Nola arrived. They had no idea we were there. We had no idea they were going to turn up either. We took the opportunity of letting them know what we were doing. They held the rock, which we'll see in a photo shortly, and we caught up with them very briefly for some family photos.
cracking us again, I suppose. But down there we duty. Yeah, you two rows.
Deep root Brussels sprouts and cabbage.
It was time to interview Dad. However, on the first attempt, he'd only just returned from bowls, so I was going to return at a later date. Have you grown stuff in here already?
Oh, shit, I've had spuds in here since I've been here, 4 years.
My dad is right next door to where his mum lived for many years until the mid-1990s, including his brother Colin and Les. He only needs to open his curtains of his room and been reminded.
That's my mum, Julie Muriel Gray. I think this is my mother's wedding day.
So
He's dead.
that lady in the
He
photo
died in
over there,
Belgium.
it's her mum.
What are you up to? Hey,
Yeah.
come here.
And what would you know their names?
No, I don't. I've got the
And he died in the
paper.
war, did he, in what, World War
In
One?
Belgium. Yeah, I think it must have been.
The girl in front is you,
Yeah.
and then
And then
your Auntie
Auntie
Mavis.
Mavis, and then my mum that I'm clinging to.
And who's the boy again?
I don't know. It's a
You're not
cousin
sure.
of mine.
Okay. How old were you here?
There. That was when in Southbridge, probably in my 50s, late 50s.
Because this year you're going to be 69, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be 70 next year.
Where were you born?
Christchurch. St George's.
Oh, were you? What time were
Yeah.
you born, do you know? Can you remember?
20 to 4 on a Saturday afternoon.
20 to 4 on a Saturday afternoon. How old were you here in this photo?
I'd be 4, possibly.
Wow.
4 or 5.
And what year were you born?
July the 30th, 1949.
So we don't lose that memory. Your mum here was
18.
the face on an on a biscuit box.
On Ordsbrook's chocolates.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
Wow.
That was what that photo was taken for. Yeah. Apparently, that's what happened. Yeah.
What's
I've been
your
trying to
earliest
get in
memory
touch.
of your mum?
I'm not sure. I remember birthdays and that, and I always used to be out the front, and I used to have my photo taken with all the toys and that Dad made, the doll's wardrobe and all that. I remember those.
And your dad's name was
and my
Arthur.
parties, but I had no other friends like.
Your dad's name was Arthur, eh?
Yeah,
Because
Arthur
I remember
Beryl.
him.
Yeah.
What is your earliest memory?
I've been dragged to school as a 6-year-old by the scruff of my frickin' neck because I hated it. I didn't want to go later, and I had to be pulled all the way to school.
What was the name of your first girlfriend?
Dorothy Buchanan. At St. Peter's in Beckenham. And I got my leg ripped open by chasing around the school and I got caught on the nail. And I ripped my leg open.
And what was the first house you lived in?
Well, I was only a baby. I was up to 9 months old before we moved to Aranui. And I got a stayed a house.
Or was that the house that your mum always lived in then?
Yeah,
that one?
she was there 51 years.
Because what did your dad died of asbestos, didn't he?
Well, he had shrapnel on the head and stuff as well, but I'm not sure. He had a bad heart, or whether it was something to do with the leg. I thought it was sort of like
where
a
did he
cancer.
work?
He worked in John Brightling's.
And John Brightling, what was that doing?
That was moving asbestos and all that, and he used to do. And black and white minstrels came out in the 1960s. Well, he set all that up, did all that, and then he used to take stuff to the dump, which he'd take cottons and food and all that sort of thing, and he wasn't meant to drop them off, and books and all that, and he'd drop a few things into Mum, a few cottons, but he never told Mum they'd come They were all clean and tidy, but if Mum had known they'd come from out the back of a shop in old stock and that, she'd think they were dirty, so he never put the word over. He just
And so,
said
like,
they were new.
What about your grandparents? Do you remember meeting them?
I never saw them, they were gone.
Oh, they gone before you were born.
My father was one of 8 children, and his father remarried.
And what was your dad's full name? Can you remember?
Arthur Beryl Wilson.
Arthur Beryl Wilson.
He was born on December the 30th, 1916.
And so he passed in the 70s, didn't he?
He passed in,
Oh, was it 95?
the 9th of October 1995.
For some reason, my memory of him, I remember him having a really cool car, and he used to pick us up, and I remember
And
him
we went to Ashley Gorge.
giving, the Ashley Gorge and some double R bottles. He used to give us, like, double R lemonade. And I don't know why I've always remembered that, but that's one of my memories, eh?
Yeah, that's right. He was born December the 30th, 1916.
And so where did you go to school?
Araneri Primary. That's
And
my girlfriend.
whereabouts are you in this one, Mum?
And that one. I have to have a look now. I think that's me there.
Aranui Primary.
Yeah.
And what college did you go to, or high
I
school?
went to Aranui High School. I was only there a year and a half.
And what was your first job?
Vanel Shoe Factory across the road from Aranui High.
In a shoe factory?
I walked out of school
Did you?
and went straight in and got a job doing shoes. And finally I had to tell Mum and Dad. They thought I was going to school for 2 or 3 weeks.
Like,
And they thought I was
Sneaky.
going to school. I went to work in my uniform and told them I didn't have any other clothes. Mum was really upset about that. The guy that owned the shoe shop here in Beckenham before the quake, he was my boss.
As at the age of 13, I used to deliver false teeth.
really?
to dentists on a bike.
Okay, what was next?
Oh, I worked for Stevie's Pie for 6 days.
Stevie's Pies.
Yeah.
Okay, then what?
Then I went truck driving.
Driving trucks for who? Like the post office?
No, that was Mackenzie Willis.
Oh yeah, you were delivering ovens.
No, furniture.
Oh, and then what after that?
Then I went in the army.
You went to the army, and then after that?
I drove trucks for
For-
30 odd years.
For the post office at some stage.
Oh yeah, I took 13 years in the post
You
office.
used to go between Christchurch and Timaru, I remember.
All the time.
was that for?
Oh, that was GEC. That's after I got out of the post office.
And what about firefighting? Weren't you a fireman?
Yeah, 18 months I was, yeah.
Where were you a fireman?
In Central.
In Central. Wow. And you fell through something.
I fell through a roof. I was up in the ceiling,
Yeah.
and then the ceiling collapsed.
And you went down in with it.
I worked in Ernest Adams as well. I was there for 2.5 years. I was 17 when I went there, and then I got married to your father.
And where did you meet Dad?
Well, it's a long, long story actually. And he was in this car, and here was Dad with his tie on and all, and he looked so good.
Where were you married?
We were married. Where the heck were we married? Registry office in town.
The registry office.
Oh, that one in Manchester Street.
Yes.
How many years would you have been married if you were still married now then?
I would have been
Almost
married.
50 then.
Julie is 50 next year. And,
So have you had a good life, would you say?
not really. No, I've had
No.
my ups and downs. But no, I've
So
learned
what do
a
you
lot.
think? What do you think
Learned
is
a
the
lot.
greatest achievement of your life?
Having 7 children. Yeah, that's my biggest achievement, and all my great grandchild, of course. I think back and I think I would love to have made it with Dad. I mean, even now, you know, I still think about him when he's ill and that and stuff, and, you know.
I mean, when you think about it, between you and Dad, you know, there are 7 plus, you know, well, Dad obviously 1 as well, so that's 8 children plus 26 grandchildren and 2 great grandchildren, and Mark's son is due to have another one shortly as well, so, you know, yeah.
Really?
Mm.
Oh my God. Doesn't worry me. Oh, look at Michael.
This is something that Mum has knitted.
Really?
How long did this take you?
It took me 4 weeks.
4 weeks.
4 weeks. I made half a dozen of them. My mother and on the farm with the horse
How old were
when
you
I was
here?
little. And I was a tiny girl, probably about 3.
And these are all your toys.
And they were my
And is
toys.
this an Aranui house?
Yes, it is. Yes, that's me when I was a baby. I should have another one.
And look at you now,
somewhere.
so contrast you.
Hi.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Definitely the car
Yes.
that I remember.
that's it.
So you're not sure who the baby is, though?
No, say either Mark or you.
Well, we'll say it's me. So we're outside your house where you lived with your mum and dad, and then across the road, what
They
was
were
there?
shops. That was Gibson's hairdressers. The Foursquare was on the corner over here. And we had a butcher shop, and then we had a self-help shop.
Okay, and so your
And
mum
my
and dad were
doctor
in
was
this
down the
house for
road.
how many years?
Mum was there for 51 years.
51 years.
Oh, it feels strange. It was just an ordinary wire fence that lived in there. Yeah. I used to look out the window.
And when you look at this house now, what memories does it bring back to you?
I see my father standing here in the garden, and also standing at the letterbox in the afternoon bringing the milk in. Used to wait for the milkman. And that little window, I can see myself sitting looking out,
What one?
watching people go by.
The side
wee
one.
The side one in the kitchen. And I can see Mum in the kitchen. She used to have the window open, and she used to stand there. And when I got off the bus, I could look in and see Mum standing there. And she'd wave to me. Yeah. Yeah. And then Mr. and Mrs. O'Neill used to live in there.
And you reckon your toys are still underneath that house?
A lot of stuff will be, yeah.
Why would they be under the house?
Because I used to stuff things under.
Did you?
Bits and pieces of tea set.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing those memories.
Yeah, it does bring back memories.
Was how long ago do you think this one of you and your mum?
Oh gosh, 2005. She died in 2006, I think it was. She died at Cashmere View. I want the grandchildren, when I have my funeral, to be happy. We're going to have happy songs, and I want them to lay me out, and I want the lid off the coffin, and I want them to put roses on me, and I want them all to gather around, the whole lot of grandchildren and great-grandchildren.
You would be cremated and go with Uncle Colin. And what music how would you like us to celebrate your life?
That's quite funny. I thought about that quite a bit.
So what's the answer?
I think Graham would know.
Graham would know, yeah? What's the answer? Say it on the camera.
I want Graham to get up there and laugh like I did. Well, it always takes me off. And take the shit out of that funny thing. And because Graham was called me Rusty. No one else hardly ever called me Rusty. And Graham will know exactly what I want, I think. I want an Irish flag and a New Zealand flag on my coffin. I want the New Zealand and the Irish flag on my coffin. And just have a bloody good time when I go and have a bloody good wake, basically.
And I remember you were in this little wee cage thing, and it must have been like a little hen house thing, but you used to play in it, and you used to sit behind it, and you had a blue, sort of a background
And this is
blue
Huxley
jersey.
Street.
That was in Huxley Street.
What number?
172.
If you had your life over again, what would you do differently?
That I would treat my kids in a different manner. I would do more fun things. I would go and get a job. I would make sure that I had the money. And, I'd just be a better person. I'd like to be a better mother, in actual fact. Yeah, I tried.
So why did we move out of Henderson Road?
Because we needed a bigger house because Mary was born.
Oh, is that why?
Mary was born in Henderson's Road, at the hospital. Yeah. But I had her, brought her back to Henderson's Road. We had 4 bedrooms in Henderson's Road. But we went to Dixon Crescent for some reason. I don't know why we ended up there. That's when I left Dad. Ashes in the bag or something.
No, that was me.
Was it you?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, no, I burned the house down. Not on purpose.
No.
Because I remember one day that we were going to be taken to skating down the road in Hornby. And I was so excited that I didn't bother checking whether the ashes were cold. So I put them in the rubbish bag.
Oh, no. Yeah.
Where's the most exciting place you've ever travelled to? Where was your favourite journey you went to?
Australia with Mary. And we went in 2014.
Where's the furthest you ever went? Was it Hawaii?
Oh, the exciting time was when I went to Australia for the first time and came to you.
Where haven't you been in New Zealand that you'd like to go? Have you been to Invercargill?
I would like to go down to Invercargill. I'd like to go to Queenstown. I'd like to do all those little places. I haven't been to the coast. And
to the West Coast?
Haven't been there. I've been to Blenheim. I love Blenheim. But I'm not, I'm not a good traveller on hills and that. So
what's your advice to your grandkids and your great-grandkids?
Well, my advice is to grow up and just get a good job and not have a family too quickly, and believe in what you believe with your heart, and make sure that you do love that person. And just.
And if you don't love them?
Well, you just don't marry them if
you're
not
and do
keen.
Something else.
Yeah, if you don't want to. And just get on with life and enjoy it, and go and do the things that you want to do before you do settle down.
Are you pleased that at least like your 7 children have, none of them have ever got in trouble?
Sometimes I'm quite jealous of them. My dream would be I would like to go to England, and I'd like to see the palace and that, but I'd like to go with somebody. I would never travel that far by myself.
It's a long way.
But I'd love to see those places, and I wanted to see Holland, and I wanted to see Venice and all that. Yeah, must be wonderful to get out of the plane and go and see that. Colin's been a great friend. We worked together. She used to work at the home cleaning and that too. So we've been a great friend.
So our names, what can you remember? And I'm sure you can't remember some. So Julianne is named after you, right? Mark, no. James.
James,
It'd be
right.
After Granddad,
That
James.
was after Granddad, that's right. And Stephen Arthur, well, you were after my father. And
this is
Emma Jane
was
was
him here.
After your nana.
Where was this photo?
That was on the Sumner Wall at Sumner Beach. When Mum met Dad.
And so Emma was named after, Emma Jane.
Emma Jane. She was named after your nana, which was Emmalina.
And Karen Lois.
Karen Lois. Lois was after my girlfriend.
And this is Lois here.
Yeah. And who was the next one? Michael was named after a horse. That
His
dad-
first name, or Francis?
Michael Francis. That was a horse running. Sorry, Michael, but if you ask your father.
Really? Wow. Okay. And Mary? Teresa?
And Mary, Teresa. Teresa was a name that the midwife, one of the midwives had. So hers was TH and I made it TERSA.
Yeah. Wow.
And yeah, so she was named after a midwife. Yeah.
What would your message be for your children, like in years to come?
Well, I just hope they succeed in life, and the thing is to love one another and do the things and fill your heart with what you are dreaming of, and fill your dreams if you can, which I wished I'd done with my children.
How proud of your children are you?
I've always been proud of. Be the proudest bloody man in New Zealand, and the proudest guy that I've ever had. Had wonderful kids, wonderful grandkids.
What advice to say our great-grandchildren when we're grandparents, so in 40, 50 years from now, and they were to watch this, which is being filmed on the 12th of March 2018, and you could talk to them in 50 years' time, what would you say?
Just be proud of what you got. Proud of your achievements. And make sure you look after everyone in your family and your siblings, your grandparents, all your nearest relatives, because, man, it's one hell of a journey when you've got family around you. It means everything. I think so, anyway.
It's my favourite.
How long have you had that for?
I have had it probably over 7 years now. Probably would be. Yeah.
What made you the most happy growing up?
Being the youngest of all the siblings, and I got pretty bloody spoiled.
Can you name all your siblings?
Of course I can.
Go for it.
Mary, Albert, Frank, Leslie, Ray, Colin, Eileen, Nola, Kathy.
Holy shit!
Me.
You ruined my...
Colin. Did I mention that Colin?
Yep.
There were 13 of us anyway.
Did you have a childhood fear?
Yeah, I did. Because when I was young, I suffered from what they call a pyorrhea, because we were never allowed to go to a dentist. So I suffered from about, I don't know, from 5 years old to 17 till I had to have all my teeth out, because I suffered from really, really, really bad toothache all my life, up until I got them all ripped out at 17.
Okay, and what was your most embarrassing moment?
Oh, I've had a few of them.
Name one.
Balls out in front of Chris.
Yeah, that was a goodie.
A what?
When you got your balls out in front of us.
Oh, sorry about that.
You're 70, how old at the moment?
I'm only 74. I'm a young guy.
So when you think about your 74 years of life, what comes to mind?
Oh, I got a few regrets.
Why?
Because I probably didn't bring when I was young and a bit bloody stupid and vulnerable, probably I wish I had brought my kids up a bit better. As far as not being there for them a lot of times and giving them a hard time. My dad died when I was 6. When Dad died, Mum went complete pieces. She ended up in basically a convalescent home. So when I was about 7 or 8, I had to go and stay with all my sisters, and I never spent much time at home with my mum. She was an alcoholic for many, many, many bloody years. So I never stayed at home. Never knew where I was. I was going from one sister to the other, to the other, to the other, all the fucking time. And never had a stable upbringing. It took Mum about 40, 50 years to get over her alcoholism. She did get over it in the first.
Because growing up as a grandchild, I never saw that in Nana, right? So
No, you
obviously she was in her 70s
She'd
and
got over
that then, right?
She'd got over it by then.
Right. What are you most proud about Julie?
About Julie, well, obviously because she was the first one, and she's the most beautiful little angel that ever walked the earth when I first had her.
And Mark?
Mark's been strong, awesome, and just been there when we needed them.
And Stephen?
Stephen just been the most awesome support that I've ever had.
And Emma?
Emma's just so much like a grandmother that it just blows me away, some of the things she says and does sometimes.
And Karen?
Oh, I love Karen to bits. She's so much like, how do you put it? I think she's so much like her auntie Eileen that sometimes she freaks me out.
And Michael?
Oh, Michael's just been an angel all his life, hasn't he? I mean, what could you ever, you could never want a better young son than that fella.
Mary?
Yeah. Mary's just an angel too, like her mother.
And Caitlin?
Oh, Caitlin's just been my surprising, beautiful, awesome young daughter that she knows how much that all her kids, all her siblings love. And she'll always be loved and cared for by everybody.
And finally, what are you most proud about being our dad?
I'm very proud that you've all come through probably not a very good experience in your young lives, but look at you all now. You come into beautiful adults that everyone should be very proud of.
Nicely said. Well done, Dad. On behalf of us. Love you, mate. It was an interesting experience interviewing my mum and dad. I didn't have very long, and Dad didn't talk as much as Mum. I learned a little bit more about myself, and I learned a little bit more about my mum and dad. Some things I was reminded of, others it was new information. To my parents, look, we all grow up with ways in which we regret things and we wish we could make some changes. We are defined by who we are as your children. We are defined as our own character. And I personally think that some of the wealthy richness that we have as your children is through having had not much in the past. I dedicate this film to all of my siblings, and you are all very beautiful people, and I'm incredibly lucky to have shared and ongoing sharing our lives with you and now your own children, and for some of you, your children's children. There will be another documentary in the future, an interview with my brothers, and a separate one, an interview with my sisters. For now, thank you so much for watching.